was born in East Africa, Uganda, and then my family moved from there during the revolution time in 1960s. When I was in East Africa and Uganda, the Idi Amin brought the revolution against the British colonies. Since East Africa was under the control of Britain, the kingdom, they stood up and they told that every foreign citizen, not only people from Britain, but anybody who's a foreigner should leave the country. The revolution came so quickly that people do not have a time to even take their belongings. They took everything. So this happened, and my family has to leave under the same circumstances then. After the migration, all of us lived in Pakistan. Karachi was the main city. Most of my school and college were from there. It's an agriculture country, and culture is similar to what the culture is in India. Hospitality is amazing over there with the people. I grew up a family with 4 of my other brothers. My father, he started a company which used to transport sensitive or technically advanced type of chemicals. So he got into that business. He was entrepreneur in a way. And then he got my other family members into this business. So in Pakistan, the most common sports, what every kid play is cricket and field hockey. The other sport which was popular over there was squash. I played squash for high school. The college, I played field hockey, squash, and basketball. And even in my medical school years, I played squash. I used to do a cycling there at that time. Cycling was not a popular sport there. It's all street cycling or cycling with the friends. Cycle was something you used to use as a transport to go to play different sports. So cycle was always part of your sports culture. I do not know much about my future at that time because I was so much involved in sports activities. But I was academically good to get my admission into a medical school, which was on merit. It was my father's wish. He wants me to be a physician. So after finishing my high school, I went to a medical school, which is a 5-year degree program. The degree you get is called Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. And we are affiliated with most of the schools in England. And after finishing your bachelor, you are allowed to practice medicine or surgery. It's just like getting a license to practice medicine at that time. I did 6 months of internship in the University of London during my medical school years. I have some management skills, which is kind of born in me. I just like to manage things better. I worked with my father when I was there during my college years and during my medical school years. I learned a lot from him, how he's managing a big business at that time. So management and those kind of leadership qualities were always there. And that helped me to start my own business here. I came here in 1991 after I finished my med school. I started from scratch here. My father helped me out initially. Most of the graduates, they either go to England or they go to Australia. And most of my friends and colleagues were all preparing for US exams to get an MD degree at that time. We have to take these exams in Pakistan as foreign medical graduate. Those national boards are the same exams the American medical students take here. So once you take those exams, you are considered equal. And on the basis of merit, you apply in different residency programs. When I came here, I started with a 1-year residency in Cook County Hospital in a program called Transitional Year Residency Program, so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And then I decided that I want to go into some specialty where surgery is involved. So I decided to go into anesthesia residency, which was a 3-year program. After finishing my residency in 1996, which is 4 years of program, I decided to go for a job in anesthesia, and I worked as an anesthesiologist in Clearwater, Florida. I took a 6 months off after my residency because I just wanted to do some sailing and some flying, joined the flying school. I did my flying license at that time, and then I got into a job with a group of physicians there in Florida. After working in Florida for 2 years, I decided that I want to go back to pursue a career in interventional pain, and I joined University of Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, where I did my fellowship, which is in 1999 to 2000. I did my fellowship there. Fellowship is an advanced discipline where you learn specific disorders where patients are suffering from pain. So this is a specialized field where you help patients with cancer pain, spine pain, or arthritic pain of the joints, or any other pain in the body. So this is another discipline. It's an advanced study, just like in any other specialty. During my fellowship year, I had a chance to go through an MBA program. And after going through an MBA program and fellowship program, I moved here, back in Chicago, where my wife was also, she was going through a fellowship program at that time. We had a first baby here that year when we moved here. So I lived in Chicago since that time. I'm a practicing physician and I practice pain management. In my profession, I have to continue to practice and work with patients on a daily basis. Basically, Monday clinic day, Tuesday is more like a minor procedure days. Today is Wednesday. We're doing mostly interventional spine surgeries under anesthesia and x-rays. Thursday is mostly clinic follow-ups and new patients. Friday is mostly new patients and sometimes administration. Based on my specialty with interventional pain, I've been treating patients here with low back pain secondary to disc herniations in the lower back or upper neck areas, and these people are treated and giving options of regenerative medicine with like stem cell therapies now, where we are regenerating the discs and regenerating these spinal injuries. I connect with my patients very differently. My patients love to work with me. They like me because they think that I am really helping them from the injuries perspective.
My wife found this clinic, and we were very, very impressed by the way he approached things. Particularly, he was very ethical, very honest.
We are offering these treatments in US now, which is mostly available outside the US. But now we have this luxury to get all these stem cells from the newborn healthy babies, and then we also have stem cells which are available to us from stem cell banking, and now we can inject those into your spine and repair and regenerate the disc and regenerate and repair the areas. So most of my procedures are minimum invasive spine procedures where we treat those injuries. It's like taking human tissue from you or from the newborn healthy babies and injecting into certain areas and using it for repairs.
It's about the only thing available now that works that does not involve surgery. And that's really the whole purpose of what we're doing here.
So I love my profession. I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. In my profession, I want to create an image on these patients that you can be very healthy like me, and I can relate to their suffering and injuries. When these patients are suffering and they have injuries, I can connect with them. I just can tell them, listen, I can help you out with your injuries and sufferings. I can design some kind of program, an exercise program for you. I can treat your pain, I can get you back. My patient trust me more because they think that he's not making up something. He's there. He's done it. And it is something I feel proud that this athletic background I have is really helping me with my profession and my career and even connecting with my patients. We have a unique place here. I think we are the only one offering these kind of therapies in the south side of the Chicagoland area. And we just want to spread the word that now regenerative medicine is available and is being practiced here. My patient trust me more because they think that he's not making up something. He's there. He's done it. And it is something I feel proud that this athletic background I have is really helping me with my profession and my career and even connecting with my patients. I was not into cycling since I came to US in 1992. I started my cycling again in 2008, 2009, almost like 15 years. I was running, which was like my everyday thing, but I started cycling very late. I started with mountain biking, then I went more into road biking later on. I was passionate about cycling. Motivation was always there. There are not too many people who are into cycling from where I came from, and it was just a growing passion for me. Plus, I enjoy outdoor nature, and that was something that helped me later on when I got into triathlons. So triathlon is basically a discipline where you swim and then you bike and then you run after that. In 2010, 2011, I've been cycling for 2 years here in US. At that time, I volunteered for one of my friends. He's a doctor, Dr. Bilal Ansari. He was doing his first triathlon in Chicago. So I volunteered for the race, and that race motivated me to think about doing triathlon. Then I started triathlon after that. By the time I decided to go into triathlons, I was not a good swimmer. I never swim a lot. So I have to basically pick up a coach and start learning swimming. It took me a year and a half to get into an open water swim from a pool swim. It was a lot of hard work. It was like putting 3 hours with a coach over the week and then putting extra hours myself in a pool, swimming like 5,000, 4,000 meters a day will get you a better swimmer. I think that was the toughest part, is to learning that sport at age 48. It's a completely new sport, and I need that sport to compete in triathlons and do long distance Ironman races, I did small distance triathlons first. So I did my first triathlon in Chicago Triathlon in 2011. And I also did half Ironman races at that time. My first half Ironman race I did in Branson, Missouri during the same year. Then I did Lubbock, Texas, and then decided in 2012 I wanted to do a full Ironman. Ironman is also a triathlon. It's just a different distance. Ironman is a long distance triathlon. You do a swim in the morning, which is about 2.4 miles. And after the swim, you go for a long bike, which is about 112 miles of cycling. And after finishing your cycling, you have to do 26.2 miles of marathon. First of all, the training in triathlons, if you're doing races, is pretty much everyday training.
He was like always out and about, kind of doing different like athletic activities. I think I almost never saw him at home, like in like Saturday, Sunday mornings.
I don't know anyone else who does as many sports and as many crazy activities as him while also having a private practice.
So with all his time and all his commitments and everything, it was a very time-consuming thing.
You can take one day off a week from recovery, but those recovery you'll be doing something else like a yoga or weight training. The training starts early in the morning, about 4:35 in the morning. You go for cycling at least 2 days a week on weekdays. You do 1 hour of cycling and then you go for an hour run after that, or 45 minutes of run. Then you also do is run and swim for the other 2 days. Friday is the day you go for a little bit longer distance running or cycling. And then Saturday and Sunday are the days where you do your intense training, and you divide the training into early morning and late in the afternoon. And you do around 14 to 16 hours a week. You need a lot of rest during the training days. You have to sleep well, especially after the workouts. You need a sleep. You need to eat the right nutrition. You need to watch your carbs intake and protein intake. It's just that you need to have a very sophisticated schedule where you need to give rest to your body. The training stress is a lot because training put a lot of fatigue on your body. So I just encountered multiple injuries during cycling years. On the running side, I started having some injuries. Later on, in last few races I've done, I have trouble with my knee. That is something which I experienced, and I always figured out that, you know what, once you get over your injuries, you can always be a better athlete, so there's nothing to worry about it. And for a full Ironman race, you need at least 6 months to train. The training start peaking up after the first 3 months of training, and then it keep going up and up till it peaks up at a 5th month of the training. After 5 months of training, you start dropping the training down, and then you go for a race. So you have to finish most of the Ironman races. They start 7 in the morning and then they finish around midnight. You have a 17 and a half hours to finish the full Ironman race. You have to finish all the disciplines within that period of time. The only goal I have is to finish the races. That is the big thing, to finish the race and get the medal. So I did my first full Ironman in Scottsdale, Arizona in 2012.
Welcome into the 2012 Scottsdale, Arizona Ironman. Today's competition will include over 2,500 competitors, including Pakistan's Zaki Anwar.
It was so good when they announced you and you're finishing the race that you are an Ironman, and that feeling that, you know, you are one of the healthiest people with among all these other thousands of people in the world. That thing is amazing, you know. It's just something that I can't explain it, but it's a very good feeling.
Now finishing the Ironman, residing from Pakistan, Zaki Anwar. Congratulations, you are an Ironman.
And after doing that first Ironman, I kept going. I was doing 2 half Ironman races or 1 full Ironman till 2019. I went abroad. I participated in Asia Pacific Championship in Australia, the races in New Zealand, and most of the races was done here in US. One of the races I really enjoyed is Melbourne, Australia. The waves and the ocean and the water is so beautiful, I remember that. The other race I really enjoyed was swimming in a Cozumel, Ironman Cozumel. So I have some good memories. I did about 8 Ironman, full Ironman during my training years. About 15 half Ironman races. So these are all the medals. There are finishing medals for the races, all the full Ironman races, as well as half Ironman races I've done over the years. These are some of the other races I've done. This was my first Ironman in Arizona in 2012. And this is In 2014, I competed in Ironman Melbourne, Australia, and this one is in New Zealand. I did this race, I finished this race in 2016. And since 2019, I am not doing any races, but I am enjoying competitive cycling. So over the last 2-3 years, my focus has changed a little bit. I want to be a better cyclist, and I think I am a better cyclist now than I was before. I want to be strong. I want to be healthier than before. I just like to continue to cycle. I think cycling will be my main thing in the future. So I've been doing a lot of cycling over last 2-3 years. Since COVID 2019, I decided to put up a gym in my basement. I have a small cycling studio in my basement where I train with some other friends who are also Ironman athletes. And then I do workout with a coach with the weight training. So gym and weight training is very important for the triathlete. You have to train at least 2 hours with weights in the gym during your weekly training while you're competing in the races. Why you need that? Because you need certain muscle groups which are fatigued to strengthen them. So your weight training is a free weight training of different weights we do that can go from bar lifting, squats, deadlift, and then you can go into different kind of dumbbells. You can do a lot of stretching here. Since I have this small gym, I can have a coach come here twice a week and we can work out and do this gym. It helps me to build my core, and it helps me to reduce some of the stresses on different joints and different parts of the body which I've created. So it's part of the training is weight training. Winter in Chicago is 4 to 5 months of winter. You can't go out and do cycling. So I decided to put up a cycling studio in my basement, and then I invited these people to, if they want to come and they can cycle with me. So this is the indoor bike studio, which is where we practice. I have a couple of other athletes who are competing in triathlons. Some of them are actually doing races this year. We meet here 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And all these bikes you see are connected with the software here. And these bikes are on different trainers. And we just train here early in the morning, and we can see our power and cadence and speed and calorie loss and heart rate and everything here. It's just a very good camaraderie to be with the same people here a few days a week, and especially in winter. I really loved it. I put this thing during COVID years because not much going on outside, and it's just working out very good. We have a online coach which comes on Zoom, and he actually helps us out on during the winter times. This is called a triathlon bike, or for Ironman races, this is the bike people use. Where you see that it's got all these different kind of controls where these are digital bike where you can change the gear electronically. And if you look at the bike, it's aerodynamically designed, so you can actually, long distance biking, you can actually rest on it and you can be right here. And this is very aerodynamic, because if you have a headwind, you can actually improve your speed. And then you have a different handles, you can balance yourself on the handle with different positions. So you can position yourself differently. This bike is more a road bike. This is a compact bike. Mostly I do climbs, I've done climbs, a lot of these climbs I've done in France and in Europe. These are all these different mountains I've done. You see those different climbs, different altitude, different grading. So this is the bike, I usually take this out on the climbing. And this is what I've been doing more now, climbing with this bike. I always love cycling, going out and talking and having a conversation with other cyclists while you're cycling. and then enjoying the scenery. It's just the connection I have with the cyclists more than I have with other sports. I'm the first person to do Ironman from Pakistan. I have another friend, Dr. Bilal Ansari. He was also the first guy. And there's another physician, a friend of mine, Athar Yusuf. We were the first 3 people who did the Ironman from Pakistan at that time, and all did in the same year in 2012 in Arizona. I never realized that I can do something like this. Although I did it for myself, it was my personal motivation and pride I had. Later on, I realized, hey, I'm the first guy who did it. And I want people in Pakistan to know that I'm here as a physician and I did this race. I want to create an inspiration for the people there. It's a third world country, and I want people to know I can do it, they can do it. Anything is possible. And I want to create some kind of inspiration for younger kids there to get into triathlons. I want to give something back to the country. That country has given a lot to me. If I want to contribute something, I want to do something on a non-for-profit basis. I'm trying to establish a ground to help the athletes there with all the technical and moral support I can give it. The ability to challenge yourself and learn different things is something I have in me. I think I like to struggle and learn new things. It motivates me, it makes me feel that I'm strong and powerful.
It inspired me to the level where I really appreciate what he does. Traveling with him for all his races and all those things, and seeing him going through all that thing, the whole day of that Ironman thing, you have to be very strong and you have to have a very strong will to do all that, and he had that and he did it. So I'm very happy for him for whatever he's doing or he has done in life. He pushed both the kids into doing these kind of activities with skiing and races and all that.
So that was the biggest thing for me, is that I saw my kids growing up and they're very good athletes. A lot of these sports activities where I used to go, they used to go and hang out with me, and they used to do some kind of fun and activity, like especially in swimming, go for swimming, or they go for some cycling with me. In fact, my younger daughter and my son both did kids triathlon here in Chicago.
I remember being really happy about it, obviously, to have kind of crossed through that finish line and done the same thing that my dad had been doing, albeit a much smaller version.
My dad definitely talks to his friends, and he would always tell them, like, yeah, my daughter did a triathlon too. She did too. My son does them too. And everybody else seems to be super impressed by us. But my brother and I, we don't dote on ourselves. But our dad, he brags about us a lot.
I have to create the balance between personal, professional, and the family life. And anybody can do that, because there's a lot of time during the day. Only time I have is eating and sleeping and spending time with the family, and that's how I was managing my time. People think that they have no time because they're working and they have too much stress, but that's not true. I send them a message that being a physician, practicing and doing these things, I can manage time, you can do that. And same message, is anything is possible, you gotta be disciplined, you gotta do it.
Seeing how much he's able to push himself, especially to his physical limits, and even at kind of the later, at a relatively later age, and doing the kinds of things that most young people or guys my age can't even do. It definitely made me feel good knowing that I can be physically fit and healthy even as I get older.
I feel like I'm a very spontaneous person, and I feel like I just always want to be doing something. So I definitely got that from my dad, because I always see him being so active, and it just makes me feel like I can always be young.
The biggest thing is my kids learned, and I have some other friends who started participating in those kind of healthy activities. They get inspired, they want to talk to me, they come, they ask me, how do you do it? I just kind of mentor them. If they're playing any sport, I tell them, hey, it's possible to do it. It's that you got to put yourself into that shoes.
It never felt like we were forced to take all these risks and do these sports and do all these activities. It felt like he just was pushing us to be better, and seeing how happy he is with his lifestyle, it definitely made us want to just pursue hobbies more, because we know how we could do them for a long time like him.
Sports is more like an addiction. Any sports you play is like an addiction. It's all about dopamine release in your brain, which gives you the pleasure. And I always enjoyed the pleasure after I work out. I always enjoyed the relaxation and the feeling of happiness. If you play competitive sports, you feel really good after you work out or you do something. It's a drug. I will call it, it's the best drug. The message I have is, anything is possible. You can do anything. Don't worry about a lot of other stresses you have in your life. Just discipline yourself. And if I can do it, you can do it. It's not a big deal. It's something you got to put your mind, and your body will follow that.